Everybody, we're going to get started. I'm just going to give a recap of what we discussed earlier so we can kind of get ourselves back on track. The first thing we did is we opened up a data set on the Super Bowl and we created a very simple data. So what I'm trying to do is get you to think that Tableau, even though it's extremely powerful, it doesn't always have to be a Ferrari. Sometimes it can just simply be an ox and a cart. You know, you just want to go from A to B. So what we're going to do is I realize there are some things on the FAF that I didn't discuss, but I will discuss it on this next data set. So go to, in your data set, open up the core state-to-state twbx. It's going to say new file. Just double click on it. Yours is already open.
Okay, I was like, what?
And you should get a sheet that looks like this. Total foreign, total domestic. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is the same thing. Let's just quickly go to data source. And we're just going to look at the files. Okay, origin state, destination. We got the destination state. And so basically if you go, let's step back this one at a time. Go to the state-to-state flow, and then go to the state-to-state flow, then go to the state-to-state, and then look at the actual CSV file in the little viewer so you can see what fields we have. ITTS, state name, or you're looking at the commodity, just so you understand what you're looking at. So if we look at the state-to-state flows CSV file, so go to the state-to-state at the very top. Okay, not that one. Click on the state-to-state under the connections. State-to-state under the connections, right there. Now go to the state-to-state CSV here and just look at it. And so we can see we have a commodity description. We have a destination state. We have whether or not we have a foreign code. We have a state of origin. We have a year, and we have tonnage. Okay, basic data set. But what we have is a commodity. We have a flow, and we have a tonnage information. What did the FAF have? Commodity, flow, tons, mode. A little bit more advanced. This is why I want to show this one first because it's a simpler data. So hit close out that one, and if you go down to the second one, the state abbreviation to state flows, the orange filter, just click on that one and look at the CSV, and you'll see whether it's an ITTS member state, state name, state abbreviation. And this is some geographic filter that was put into it, and of course what the state is the FIP. So just hit cancel, and if you go back down to that. And if you at the very bottom, there's some really core specific things such as open water areas, transshipment areas, trust territories of the Pacific, things that are in the waterborne commerce of the United States, but how do you represent a transshipment area, or how do you represent some other, oil rigs? So just some of this data set, just be aware that there'll be some geography that is not going to be able to be matched. So we hit close. Now we have a very simple thing here. We have state abbreviations. So if you go to state-to-state flows, in the middle of the chart, you're going to see state-to-state flows with two blue Venn diagrams. Okay? So state-to-state flows, there's a single box on the left with two Venn diagrams as the state abbreviations. Click on the blue Venn diagram on the top. It's the blue diagram on the top right here in the middle of it's going to open up a box that's going to say whether it's an inner join, a left join, a right join, or a full join. And basically what I'm doing is I'm using the state abbreviations as a lookup table. So I want everything that's in the state-to-state flows to remain in the state-to-state flows. But I want to add these columns to it, so I actually have, as opposed to CN or TX for Texas, I have Texas. I have Canada. I have a more descriptive name than just what's there. So by doing the join, I can basically create a lookup table to my data set. So I close it out. And what I did is destination state. If you click on the second middle Venn diagram, you'll see I did it as origin. Now,
okay.
So what I did is I did one join on the origin, one join on the destination, and you have to be careful with the joins because you want to make sure that you don't put multiple joins in and restrict data or things of that nature. But that's again, it's a data science. So just cancel that out. And so now we're good. So, and if you look anywhere on these data fields, you should always be able to find a description. So if I come here to destination, I should always be able to find describe, and it tells me what kind of data field it is. It's a discrete dimension. It's a database, where it came from, whether it contains any null values, any flags, all of this stuff from a metadata perspective, if I want to look at the actual, how Tableau is seeing that data set. So I hit close. And then we're going to talk through go through the middle part where it says modified. We're going to do a sort by table, ascending sort by table, ascending sort by table, ascending sort by table. And they're going to see the same. You see the same thing. I have an intra state. It looks just like it was, again, to handle the question of double counting a total. I have a sum of tons, which is just a sum calculation. I just simply took tons and I added, so it's going to look just like the same tons on the other side. And then total foreign, if you notice, it's got a clip there. Click on the clip. That means it's a group. And it says underneath it, so just edit the group. And you'll see that it has total foreign, it has total domestic. So the idea is, because the way I need to be able to say what is foreign and what is domestic. Because in this data set, if you click on the arrow pointing towards total foreign, you'll see it says 1, 2, 3, 4, total domestic only has a 5. Because the core breaks out Canadian flows separate from trade to the rest of the world. So to get a true foreign, I have to add Canada to the rest of the world. This is where I do that. So we hit cancel. And then everything else kind of looks the same. Destination state. And Canada doesn't show up in the geography, but it's there. Whether or not it's an ITTS member state. And the commodity code, go to commodity code. It says commodity. I want you to click on the little arrow in the commodity field. There's a little arrow. No, that's ITTS. Commodity is right there, that little arrow. This one is an alias. So hit alias. And as you can tell, I typed in all of these codes. Well, actually, I cut and pasted them. Because it's only 10 variables. I'm not going to do any other joins with this data set. It's just add them in and be done with it. So I hit OK. So now you want to see which fields I put aliases in or which ones I didn't. You just, again, select aliases on, select aliases off, and you'll see where also the foreign as well. I put in, again, aliases for whether it's trade, imports to the rest of the world, exports to the rest of the world, inbound and outbound. So as you can tell, the information looks similar to the FAF, similar structure, because I had to account for certain things, and it has year. So let's go to a new database, a new worksheet. And what do you want to know about Waterways? This has all the information. There's no restrictions on Missouri or anything. It has all the states. So what do you want to know about Waterways? Let's do commodities. Drag commodities over. Let's do tons. Okay, now let's do year. Put year as a column. Okay, now let's do the right click on sum of tons. And we're going to do quick table calculation. We're going to do difference. And so basically it's adding the difference between this table and the previous table. Now, if you don't like that, you can always go back to that edit, that sum of tons, that pill, that green pill, and you're going to edit the table calculation. And you want to say, no, what I really want is I want to do the difference. Where it says calculation type, it says difference from. Just change that to percentage difference from. And then now you get what you more consider, and just hit OK, and now you've got your percentage difference. So just close the box.
Close the box.
So here, just right here. And you want to do it cross. So. Oh, because you got this as a label. Okay, does everybody have the chart that is up on the screen? Yes, no, maybe, kind of? Okay. I'm assuming from the silence that everybody is more than engaged in this board conceptually with the work. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take sum of tons and from the measures bar, and I'm going to drag it up to color. And now what I have is I have another variable. What I have is the tons, the darker it is, the more tonnage that is. So the darker ones, the ones at the most tonnage, are the darker colors.
Okay.
The ones that are less tonnage are lower. So now I have a metric that by using color, I add a second dimension. I'm adding now not only a percentage change, but I can look at which ones really are the big tonnage ones that I should be concerned about. Now, if I don't like this tonnage, I can go to sum of tons. I'm going to go to the show me, underneath show me. There's a little filter box. I'm going to click on the little down arrow, go down to show me, go down to the sum of tons in that box. There's a little arrow, click on it. I'm going to edit the colors. Okay, so we're going to go to automatic and go to automatic and just scroll down, and we're going to go to purple and gold. Purple and gold all the way in the middle of the page. Down, down, down.
I refuse to use that color scheme.
Okay, so you can use red and blue. I was wondering who was going to say something. So go to purple and... Okay, Tron, which one should we use? Red and blue?
Sounds good.
Okay, red and blue diversion. Now just hit apply. And now, again, we see a different chart. But we still have our file open. We can do a stepped color. And we can say, okay, I want to do the top, the middle, the top. I can put using color, I can also develop quadrants. So it's, again, the idea is you can customize things to help you think visually what's important to you. So in this matrix, not only do I have a percentage change, I also have tonnage. So I've actually put multiple information into this same chart. So, has everybody got to this page that looks like this where we use red and blue? Are they going to hire less miles, Tron?
I saw that.
Okay. So what I'm going to do now is, looking at this chart, let's go back up to show me. Wait, before we do anything, let's just duplicate this chart. Just go all the way down to the bottom and hit duplicate. So we now have the same chart the same way. And this is the commodity flows. Now, we want to do something else. Do show me, and just click through show me and just look at all the different ways this data can be presented. Because you notice you have two different things. You have two variables. You have a color dimension and you have a non-color dimension. So when you're doing the show, some things it'll show as color, some things it'll show as a number, some things it'll show as a size. Yeah, the rainbow flower. And my daughter just left the electronic forest, and she's a big EDM person, so that's
Okay.
That is, rainbows and unicorns.
Yeah.
She's 23. So anyway, as you can tell, now if you notice, it kept the percentage difference, and it kept some of the other information. So the idea is, once you build a table, there might be a better way of showing it. There might be a better way of explaining it.
Yeah.
So sometimes I would just go through Show Me to say, oh, is this the best way to show it? Am I missing something? Or like, for instance, I go to this table right here. It's the 3 bars, and I'm basically getting the percentage difference on this chart. And I'll say, well, this is really showing me how it's moving up or down, but I want to really make that a line. And now I have a line.
How did you do that line?
I just basically went to the marks,
Okay.
and I selected line.
Got it.
Or I could do area, which just gives me a height. Now you notice it dropped the nulls, it dropped the tons from the list. So different data sets will do different things, but just always remember, if you don't like something, back button. You will use the back. Wow, you will use the back button quite a bit, and you will get some images that you will never show to anybody because they just don't make any sense. But the idea is you can use color to add a different layer of communication to your tables and charts. So what I'm going to do right now is we're going to go back to Window, and we're just going to, we're just going to go through real quickly each of the data sets that's already in this data set. So Mississippi flows to and from the world, and this is kind of where it flows. This is the workbook, and you see I did use color. I do use color a lot as additional information, whether it's the percentage change, where the heavier ton volumes are. There's just different ways you can use it. You can put, if you go through all of the different, I'll let you go through all the different worksheets real quick, just so you can see, again, like I did with the FAF, the flows, having the commodities, having imports and exports. It's the same data set, but you can do different types of analysis with it as a flow data set. I've got a few dashboards in here, which is basically just simply adding pages together. Now, if you notice, this is not really that much different than the FAF in its structure, because I structured it to be similar in how you would interact with the data. Now, if you look on the bottom, you'll see some charts that have and some charts will be orange. What I did is I selected chart imports, and I just simply selected them. So just select several, just hit a control, select that one, and I'll do a right click. It's going to say color. I go to color, go down to color, we're going to make it red. And now everything that's red I know is an import graph. Everything that's blue is an export graph. So I can actually visually add more information about even the worksheets as I'm going through them. I say, oh, well, this is an import sheet, this is an export sheet. And you notice I do have some graphs in there by state. I have there are some thematic maps in there. So all the way up to go down. So now if you notice, I have a black background. I go to Maps, Map. I can change the map options. Some people like the map scale. Some people like dark maps. It just doesn't make any difference. It's very customizable. So I want to allow pen. I want to show the map scale or not. I can close it. I can come back to the map. I can add layers. Like for instance, I want to add area boundaries, U.S. metro boundaries to the map, and it'll show up in here. Now, it'll show them, but it won't let you visually put any information on them. So I don't use it a lot because why put an overlay of something I'm not going to be able to use? You're not.
Yeah.
So the idea is I can do a format, and I can do additional. I can change the workbook theme. I can change legends. Really, everything is customizable in this Tableau. So, but the thing with the maps is if I wanted to put a background image, like for instance, I wanted to have on the back of all my Tableau files a little logo for my state DOT, you can add that, or whatever you want to add to it. And so it gives you a lot of flexibility from a mapping perspective. So I'm going to close this back out, now back in data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give everybody just a few more minutes, and if there's a graph or a worksheet that you want to talk about, let me know and we'll talk about that worksheet. But again, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because this is similar to the FAB. So if there's a worksheet that you're interested in asking about, let me know and we'll talk through it real quick as you're going through it. Because you got such a big flow of whatever that one, so you have to edit and then you have to change. Go to advanced, and find out where this big, and you just change the center. So you change the center and just make it like 50. Okay, for instance, like I'm looking at this show me right here. I see sum of tons. I'm going to edit it. And I want to see more variation, so I can simply go to advanced, and I can change the center as opposed to being, 4.3. I can just make it to. And now I apply, and now I'll see more variation. This is.
You made it 100,000, not 1 million.
Yeah, I see that. So you can always change the colors around. So if there's anybody has a question on any of the workbooks in this core-to-core data set, I'll wait another minute or two, then we'll start jumping to the next one. You should be playing with the data set right now and looking at it. Should be, yeah. And if you find something that doesn't make any sense to you, then ask me.
Oh, I'm glad we added colors. Well, yeah, it's interesting when you add them in, the same thing in twice. I think when I tried to do it, just edit it once and then color it, then it gets squirrely.
Yep. So if you like on this column, if you go to the commodity and just click on one of the codes, it'll highlight that in the box. So that's one of the things about putting the filters. If you show the filter, you can limit it as you can just focus on just that one.
That's a nice feature, especially for the smaller ones. You can tell what they are.
And you actually change the color too.
Oh, well, look at me. Nope. Yellow gray.
And so you can always go back to the table and do a percentage change. You can go back to the commodity, and the same thing. You can do the quick.
I have to bring it in?
No, but just click on the marks, the commodity and the marks, and here you can go back to the edit and shelf, whatever. But because the sum of tons is in the row up here, just click on this up here, and you can do your quick calculations. So if you want to do the percentage of the total, and so now it shows up the percentage of the total.
Okay.
It doesn't do a whole percentage. It's just the percentage of the total. So you can edit and shelf, you can do difference, you can do rank, whatever you want
Yeah,
to
I
do.
want to edit and show.
So basically, if no one has anything else to add on this data set, we're going to close it out.